late, and in between in the second half, Chelsea sort of like picked the pace up a little bit, and you got to credit Maresca and what he did, the change he made, changed things. But this was just when things were looking like Chelsea might nick a goal. Guimaraes picks this up here, cuts inside. You know he's going to strike it. And I think it just comes off gusto and just loops. You just sit here, just gets a touch and just loops over the goalkeeper. You look how high the goalkeeper gets and it still manages to loop over him into the back of the net. And that just settled everybody's nerves for what was a massive result for Newcastle.
Great strike. Does Sanchez need to be looked at?
No, there's a bit of luck.
It's just a loop, OK.
No, it takes a deflection. Nothing the goalkeeper can do.
Now, look, there was a penalty appeal for Chelsea, and a strong one at that, 7.5 minutes earlier, when Chelsea were only 1-0 down.
Yeah, the Brazilian and the Argentinian have a little tussle. I think we saw that there. Look, you see Guimaraes there, he's got both his arms around Enzo. You can see why Enzo thought it was a pen. Normally, when you put both your arms around somebody, they're going to give that. I'm surprised they didn't look at it again because he's literally got a hold of him, Les.
I mean, it's so frustrating to watch that how this is not given as a penalty. Listen, I'm glad it wasn't, but how it's not given as a penalty. You've got both your arms around him. OK, at this stage, he's looking at the ball. They're both looking at the ball. But I've seen occasions where people are not even looking at the ball. They've got two arms around people and they say it's holding. I just don't get it. That's the whole point of VAR, to look at situations like this and see.
I think there it's fine, Les. Yeah. He's got one.
He's got one and they're tussling a little bit. But now he puts both his arms around him.
Cuddle.
It's just...
Yeah, it's quite a strong hold he's got of him.
And there's a lot going on.
I mean, you've got Cucurella there as well on Fabian Schär.
So, do you know, but we've been watching football for a long time and playing it. You don't know what's a penalty anymore, what isn't.
No, it's true.
He's cuddled him in the box and he's like, he can't move. So how is that not a foul?
And the only way you're going to stop that is if a referee's brave enough to give the penalty and continues to give them when they see incidents like that. Unless they start doing that, you'll continue to see this week in, week out, and we'll still be having the same conversation.
So Newcastle have certainly taken their chance in a bid to finish in the Premier League's top 5. The question is, can Nottingham Forest...
Howe has come out to join us now. Congratulations, Eddie. Did that feel like a perfect first half and a very stressful second?
Yeah, pretty much summed it up. I thought the first half we were really, really good. We were very pleased. Sending off changed the game, and with the scoreline as it was, I think it was a tricky second half for us mentally because we wanted to go and attack, and that was the message. But on the pitch, I think it felt different, and Chelsea changed and tweaked things and made it difficult for us tactically. So congratulations to them. But we hung in there, and I think did really well mentally in that second half.
How much did you enjoy that tactical battle with Enzo Maresca? Because there was lots of changes to personnel and formations throughout the game.
Yeah, I probably enjoyed the first half more than the second. Second half was stressful. We were making changes. Obviously, we started in the way that we did, and we looked really comfortable until the second half. And obviously, they tweaked things. And then with the scoreline, they had nothing to lose at that point. But I was pleased with how we defended. I mean, Nick's made 2 magnificent saves for us. You can't forget that, and the part he's played in the win today. But we got over the line, and that's the major thing in a game like today.
Yeah, what was so good, Eddie, is in the first half, on the front foot, kind of in and around their penalty box, you were so sharp in pressing. But then when Chelsea got into your half, you were so solid, and they couldn't break the lines at all. Yeah,
I think we pride ourselves on that, sort of both phases of the game that you've described there, and I think we've been good in both, especially of late. But that was a real test because they've got very, very good players, and you can see that in the second half. Palmer comes into the game, Casido does very, very well, and but psychologically, I think it's the biggest shift in that second period, and that's where I have to praise the players because we got over the line and we won the game.
Yeah, what did you see in Chelsea that made you saw when you dropped in, when that back five and Schär and Byrne were pushing in with Enzo and Cole Palmer, and Chelsea couldn't find any gaps? When did you decide?
You've got a big fan there, Eddie.
When did you decide on that, or was that something that you saw in Chelsea that you needed to counteract? Or
a bit of both. I think we always look at the opposition and see what we think the best system will be, and then of course we lost Kieran and Joe Willock in the week, and then you're looking at what's the best balance of the team. So you're looking at a mixture of both things, and we felt with 5 in our back line would help us. So we went that way, and it helped us first half, and we still looked to threat the other way. I think that's the key thing. You know, some of our attacking play in that first period was really good, and just felt we needed that second goal at that stage of the game.
Yeah, Livramento and Gordon were really linking up. Livramento was popping up inside in Gordon. I think Chelsea really struggled to get hold of it. But what did you? The sending off was a major thing in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was a it was a big moment. I think for me it was a red card, but I haven't seen it again. I was just going with my initial impression that he's caught. He's been caught with the elbow. Yeah, I don't want to see red cards in games unless it's clear and obvious. And
We can give you
we think it was a red card.
Here it is.
This angle here, he's had a look.
If you look at, he has a couple of looks and leads with the arm. And I think if he's looking at the ball the whole time, it's not a red. But
Cratch is an expert.
Yeah, I've been on the end of them, and I've probably been on his.
Well, I was just about to say I've been on the end of many of them. With my height as a centre half, I was sitting duck for elbows. But I think I think you're right. I think it's the visual sort of clues there, and I'm sure he hasn't meant to elbow in the way that he has, but ultimately it doesn't look great.
Eddie, what was your message to the players just before they came out? Because it was such an explosive start. And how much does it help walking out to that banner saying, get into them?
Well, it's a massive thing because the sort of the way we play has to fit the culture of the club. And it has to fit what the supporters want. The supporters here want fast, attacking, aggressive football. They want to see their team always wanting to score. And that's perfect for me. So I love to try and give them what they want, and the start today was amazing. I just felt the atmosphere was everything that we hoped it would be, and the players then delivered. And
how important is Tonali to this situation? Obviously, because the way you press like that, there's physicality and his, where he gets around the pitch, he wins the ball up so high for you, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I mean, his athleticism is brilliant in both phases, in attacking and defending. And I'd love to say that's something we've worked on with him getting in the box, but today he was playing a slightly different role with Bruno, so it wasn't necessarily something we planned for, but great to see him deliver it, and he's won the ball high and followed his run into the box.
And another assist as well for Jacob Murphy as well. That's 20 goal involvements for him this season. How do you feel you've been able to get the best out of him?
Well, I think when you begin a relationship with any player, it's a two-way thing. You express what you want, and then you hope they can deliver it. And Jacob's not only done that, but he's also then invested in himself and really bought into what we've asked him to do. And the personal development that he's shown is down to him.
Free picks this. Dan didn't realise he was going to do this, so he's just gone and given his shirt away. But that's fine. We're going to carry straight on. But Dan, this feels like a massive 3 points in the race for Champions League football. This moved you up to third above Chelsea and City.
Yeah, huge. We knew how important today was. We said that cup final was the biggest game, but this was the next one after. And it wasn't pretty, but we got the job done at this stage, so I don't really care.
Yeah, Sandro, when it comes to the big games this season, Newcastle just seemed to rise to the occasion, and it was a nice early goal from yourself today just to settle things down.
Yeah, I spoke before the game for big game and big start. I think we started the game very well. And after 3 minutes, we had a score, and I think this win is so important for us, for our Champions League, and we have 2 games for finish to the Champions League.
That's your 6th goal in all competitions. 5 of them you've scored here at St James's Park. Is there a better feeling?
Yeah, I like to score in St James's Park, but I think I'm a little bit lucky also for the goal because the shot was so. But I think I'm happy for this win and I'm happy for all 3 points.
Doesn't matter how they go in, they all count. But Dan, was it a little bit nervier in that second half than what you would have liked as you searched for the second?
Yeah, I think so. I think sometimes it's harder when they go down to 10 men because you should feel like you dominate, but there's always that little bit of you that doesn't want to let them back into it. The crowd were a bit nervy, and I think we felt a bit nervy as well. But listen, I think we've been together sort of 3-4 years now. We've got that big game experience, and I thought we did really well to see the game out, and great goal by Bruno at the end.
All right, well done to you both. Dan, you are actually the player of the match. So, Sandro, if you'd like to do the honours to Dan. Well done, guys.
Thank you very much.
Arsenal, but Tim, that is season-defining, is it not?
Season-defining kind of solidifies them for me in that top 5. It shows what a good manager can do. You've been talking about it all morning. I mean, the tweak that Eddie Howe made to the team to try and get one over on Chelsea just in the lineup. He does that. He had to make a couple different changes, flip-flop back and forth in terms of formations in the game. He got the best out of his team, and that's what we always see from Eddie Howe.
Just 1 win out of their last 2 games, which is Arsenal away and Everton at home, because of their goal difference, should be enough. They just need 1 more win, and they'll be all but in the Champions League. As Tim said, Eddie Howe, we are looking at a proper manager.
Yeah, proper manager. Great mentality, smart tactically, great motivator, talks well in the press. You know, sometimes, you know, managers jump around and complain all the time.